We got an unboxing. I hope you're ready for a good show, that is. So buckle up and put on your safety gear, because it's about to get heavy. Hit that like button for some good luck today. I hope this thing doesn't break the hatch on my chest freezer. Silver Stacking Saga first yesterday. Right, woo! I must say the air here in the Thousandaire First Class Club is great. Congratulations, Silver Stacking Saga. But always remember the first rule of Thousandaire Club. All right, I got lots of footage and little time, so I'm gonna have to speed things up. So I had a friendo go to the banco to get me some, yes, you guessed it, nickels. 75% copper, 25% nickel, with a melt value higher than a dime and a quarter. Illegal to melt, so I don't suggest that you do that. In fact, I rarely suggest you do anything. I'm not even sure why you're here, but I'm glad you are. Usually, he can only get $20 worth out of them. I was surprised a couple weeks ago when he got $40 worth. And imagine my shock when yesterday he returned with a box of $100 worth. I'm curious why the bank had 50 rolls available for him this time. Upon glancing, I noticed that a lot of these are hand rolled, so perhaps people are bringing their change into the bank. I could speculate on what this means, but I really don't care that much. Or do I? What would it take for me to roll my nickels up and take them to the bank to cash in? Off the top of my head, I'm thinking if I'm cashing them in at the bank, I'm probably in an era where I'm eating beans and rice, or I'm moving. When I move, I'm gonna have to do something. I've got 5-gallon water bottles full of these things. My goal is one in every room. That's how I feng shui. People say to me, where did you get that 5-gallon water bottle full of nickels? I simply must have one. I'm just kidding. Nobody comes in here. If you're familiar with the channel, you know I have a few habits that I like to complete regularly each week. Plus, I have monthly habits and an every 6-month habit as well. What are they? You ask? I'll tell you. Every week, I like to pick up an old silver dollar. I've done that every week for 43 weeks now, and this weekend that we're in right now is actually week 44. But I will not have time to buy that until Monday. Every week, I set aside a $100 bill so that I may buy a 1.2 troy ounce gold centenario every January and June. They weigh a bit more than 1.2 troy ounces, but they contain 1.2 troy ounces of gold. Yeah, so at least 2.4 troy ounces of gold annually. If you think that's too much gold, remember, when anybody saved their US dollars before the 70s, they were saving gold. The notes were redeemable in gold. And my cost average is great. It's working out, so I see no reason to pivot from that habit. Yeah, so another weekly habit I have is I like to spend 20 bucks on change. And by change, I mean nickels and pennies. If I have to get them from the bank, I do not opt for the pennies because you just get a bunch of rolls of new ones and they're worthless. No copper, just a bunch of zinc. So what is the benefit of having these, you may ask? First off, I'll start with, I'm impulsive. If I have a stack of hundreds, I'll be tempted to spend them. Although nowadays I'm trying again, saving stacks of hundreds. So we'll see if it works. Nevertheless, I like to make the cash difficult to spend. You could have thousands of dollars in pennies and nickels, and if you need some cash to go do something, you'll say, nah, I think I'm gonna sit out. I'm broke. I'm not about to count a bunch of nickels and pennies and roll them up. But if I should end up in a desperate situation, like lose my job and it's been a while, I'll roll some up to go get some food. Or, spend a week rolling them up to go buy a car. No, I'm kidding there, but, I don't really know how much is in a 5-gallon water bottle. If for some reason I have a lot of time off, maybe one day I'll empty a 5-gallon water bottle and count it and make a video of that. That's going to be one heck of a process. I do have a little machine that separates pennies, the pre-1982s from the ones after. It separates out the copper ones, is what I mean. Some of the 1982s are actually copper, and some of them are not. The machine helps. Yeah, so one of these days I'm going to sort my pennies and I'll take all the zinc ones back and cash them in. By all means, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I mean, you can go ahead and say negative things. It's fine. So, if I have nothing but good times and I never need to spend any of this money, then I'm sure it'll go up in value, like material-wise at least. So it'll probably get too expensive to make them and they'll change the composition, or we might even go to just digital currency anyhow, and then it may be legal to actually scrap all of this. After all, I think you can scrap pre-1964 silver change. And how would you have done if, you were around then and you filled 5-gallon water bottles of pre-1964 silver change? I mean, you would what would you get? 20 times as much, at least, probably? A $1,000 change jar becomes a $20,000 change jar. And I'm sure if you were squirreling many of them away like I am, people would probably make some comments. Back then, they would heckle you. They'd say, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? They'd probably even make you feel dumb, but they're the one that's dumb. Now, I don't know if I think copper and nickel will go up that much, obviously. Probably not. But I don't think 100% or more is out of the question. Another thing to consider is, say you get a burglar in your house. They could look around, but I mean, there is money right there. And if they're hooked on drugs or something, they'll probably go for it right away. Maybe even throw their back out. How nice would that be to find them on the floor? Oh, hey buddy, you need some help there? I'm just joking. If you have a clear advantage, you probably shouldn't execute anyone. If you have a clear advantage, I mean, that can be subjective. I'm not a lawyer. No legal advice here. All right, I gotta speed this up. Basically, the table just fills up with nickels, okay? I was gonna show footage of me putting them in the 5-gallon water bottle. I guess we'll do that tomorrow. There it is, $100 worth of nickels. That's it. That is it. Thousandaire Radio, wicked show.